Hello and good afternoon, friends. Today I want to take you on this glorious 100-degree day with me to take a look at a pressure system for the well for property transfer, and we're going to see what we find. Today though, it's going to be exciting because this system looks like it was installed by either a homeowner or a handyman who may not have known exactly what they were doing. Let's go ahead, go downstairs, take a look at everything and see what we find. I'll see you in a second. Alrighty, so what we have over here is the pressure tank, right? So this big guy right here, this is what's going to supply pressure to your home. How this works is there's air up top, water on the bottom, and a bladder in between. So the water will actually come from the water line down through here, up into here, and the pump is going to compress that air, and then that compressed air will actually push the water through the rest of the house. So let's go ahead and look to see what we're working with on this particular system. So we see here that we have our water line coming in, but as we come down, we don't see that we have any kind of check valve or backflow prevention. Now, this whole area is called the T-assembly, right? So how this works, this will basically go into the pressure tank, and then basically what will happen is the water comes in over here, the pressure tank, out and into the rest of the home. Generally, you're gonna have a hose bib and a pressure relief valve right where these galvanized plugs are. But it seems like somebody decided to go ahead and put one of those on both of these spots. Now, the problem with putting a galvanized plug on this brass is that it will lead to excessive corrosion, and you really don't want that because it's going to work its way to be eventually leaking, right? So what we're going to recommend is to go ahead and pull that out if the threads are able to be saved, so that way we don't have to worry about any kind of issues in the future. We see here that somebody's jerry-rigged some weird quasi hose bib over here, but that's not really the way to do it, and also you spend way more money doing it this way, right? This little fella is our pressure switch. This is what tells the pump to kick on and kick off. So it's a 40-60 switch. So what that means is at 40 psi inside of here, this will kick on, which will turn the pump on, which will then have the pump compress the air inside the pressure tank until it gets to 60 psi, and then the pump will turn off. All right. Over there, we can see that we have our main water shut off, but if we follow the water up, we'll see that it all kind of splits off and goes to the rest of the home. There's a barn as well as a second dwelling on the property. So this one goes to the second dwelling, main house, barn. But we go over here, we'll see that we have our water treatment. Now it looks like somebody attempted to service it, but they went ahead and dropped the bag, unfortunately. So if you've ever wondered what the media looks like, that's what it looks like right there. But we can also see that there's some water on the ground. So we want to try and investigate a little bit to see if we can figure out where that water's coming from. So if we look right here, it looks like this lid's not completely sealed, and that might be where our water is dripping, right? This is usually not what you would find on a normal installation. Whenever you see piping and materials like this, more times than not, it's almost always that a homeowner or a handyman installed it. Nothing against that, but it's very important to make sure that if you're doing something to your plumbing, that you do it correctly to avoid any potential catastrophes or contaminants getting into your water supply. I've talked about it dozens of times on this channel. I am all for homeowners trying to do repairs themselves, as I think most of these repairs are pretty straightforward and simple and easy enough for that almost every homeowner can do it themselves. However, the concern comes when you don't do it right? So for this particular one, there's a few issues, right, as far as maintenance and longevity and safety, right? So if you're not installing the pressure relief valve, if you're not putting a proper hose bib, using dissimilar metals, especially galvanized on copper, you're gonna run into some problems down the road, right? The tank didn't look super old. I didn't see a date on when it was put in or who put it in, but again, if it was the homeowner, we're not gonna find one of those, right? So with all this said, I think it's very important to make sure that we bring some clarity to the whole system, right? If you're gonna do it yourself, make sure you look up what it's supposed to look like and your county codes, because every county is a little bit different, right? So in our area, on that tank, it's supposed to be above the surface. All right, they did that, that's good. But you're also supposed to have a backflow prevention, so that way water can't get back into the well. They didn't do that, that's a problem. You're also supposed to have a hose bib and a check valve with a vacuum breaker on the hose bib at the tank. Didn't have that either, right? Now, are these the end of the world? No, right? Can they fix it? Yeah. Is it pretty straightforward and easy to fix? Yeah. That corrosion with the galvanized nipples might be a little bit tricky. Like that might be kind of hard to get those off. Hopefully the threads are still in decent shape. If not, you just cut off the ends of that CPVC, unscrew the T-assembly, screw a new one in, and then start over, right? The tank itself was working, it was doing fine. they didn't do a bad job, but they didn't really quite do it the way that they should have done it, right? So leave a comment below. Have you ever gone about replacing or installing your own pressure tank, your well pump? Maybe you installed your water treatment, right? We saw in this one that the water treatment, it looked like somebody had done something at some point, but they kind of made a little bit of a mess on their floor. So, you know, it is what it is. pH looked fine, right? But leave a comment below. Let me know. Have you ever done anything like that? If you enjoy content like this, I have videos posted every day on the world of well and septic. Hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Till next time, guys.